Hey everyone, here is your SpaceX update a little bit later today, but this is because I had the pleasure of interviewing one of the two FCC commissioners who has openly shared a dissent statement. Now, this is regarding a recent decision for Starlink and a rejection of an award that was given back in 2020 to provide rural households with Starlink access to the internet. The reason this caught my attention is that the FCC has made up standards on the fly, and this is according to Brendan Carr, an FCC commissioner himself, that are unrealistic standards for any company or service. But apparently, Starlink wasn't even supposed to meet these standards until 2025. So here we are, 2 years before that, and Starlink is being unfairly assessed and penalized and in some ways harassed. Brendan Carr says this is a pattern of harassment that Elon Musk and industries are seeing from all sorts of different governmental agencies. So here's a clip of our conversation.
Look, we've seen an unprecedented deluge of regulatory inquiries since then. You've got the DOJ, the Federal Trade Commission, the FAA, the Southern District of New York. You've got even the Fish and Wildlife Services going after them, and now you've got the FCC as well. And I just none of those decisions seem to make a lot of sense, other than viewing them as part of a pattern that has largely flown from that time that President Biden took the podium in the White House.
Well, and you know what? I have that clip right now, so let's pull it up. This is from November of 2022, if I'm understanding correctly from the article. It's about a 1-minute clip, so let's play what President Biden said.
Mr. President, do you think Elon Musk is a threat to U.S. national security, and should the U.S. and with the tools you have investigate his joint acquisition of Twitter with foreign governments, which include the Saudis?
I think that Elon Musk's cooperation and/or technical relationships with other countries is worthy of being looked at. Whether or not he is doing anything inappropriate, I'm not suggesting that. I'm suggesting that it's worth being looked at. But that's all I'll say.
So very strange. That might be the slowest response I've ever heard. That was very hard to listen to. But you were saying that, that response sort of gave the green light to all sorts of agencies, not just the FCC. We've seen it time and time again with the FAA, even with the Fish and Wildlife Service. So you're seeing a pattern, the Wall Street Journal seeing a pattern. So what can we do about this? I mean, obviously you're raising awareness. You issued your dissent statement, which I have, if we want to pull that up at some point in this conversation.
Yeah, look, I think that's right. It's clearly a pattern that's emerged. Now, look, on the one hand, you could say Elon Musk has a lot of businesses, and so he's naturally going to have a lot of run-ins with regulators, and that's true to some extent. But again, if you look individually at these on the merits, take the Federal Trade Commission, for instance, they were going after him for disclosing to reporters and journalists information that they were reporting on pursuant to the Twitter files. Or you look at the NLRB, they were going after Tesla for effectively dress code violations because they were requiring people to wear black T-shirts to work, which actually had a sort of an engineering basis, and not allowing them to wear apparently, pro-unionization T-shirts. It was effectively a dress code violation. Or you've got the Fish and Wildlife Services, which I think we've talked about a little bit. They went after him, or started to at least, for there was a handful of bobwhite quail eggs and some blue land crabs that were charred as a result of a SpaceX launch. And I don't know, that sounds more like surf and turf to me than a federal case, but it's sort of part and parcel of what's being built here in terms of these, federal agencies looking into Elon Musk. And again, I personally think it's hard to divorce that from where Elon Musk has gone in terms of his position on free speech. I think, this idea of, unfettered conversations and Americans having them is something that, people in power just are not that big of fans of, right? People like being able to sort of control the narrative, to have gatekeepers that sort of approve of what, people can talk about. And I think that concept of free speech is fundamentally a threat. Now, look, if you look at, what Biden said narrowly, he did sort of talk about these ties to, foreign countries or whatnot. But the inquiries that we've seen coming out of the administrative state are completely disconnected from any concern on that front. That's why I just think, regulators sitting here in DC, when you see the president say something like that, I think it pretty clearly operates as a green light. So yeah, I think it's important that people push back. Elon Musk can take some of these cases up on appeal, but I just think it's fundamentally important that people know that we're watching this type of thing, and hopefully we see less of it going forward.
So I have the full video of the conversation. This was a live stream, and I appreciate all of you who showed up. This was a very big interview, in my opinion. It took me a little bit to get a hold of Brendan, but he makes some really great statements. And as much as I don't like the idea of the FCC or the FAA or just governmental agencies in general, it's nice to know that someone like Brendan is working for the FCC and trying to voice the truth, trying to make change happen. Now, the other reason why I have to make this SpaceX daily update is that we had a lot of activity down at Starbase today with a static fire test. So here's some wonderful video from NSF of the Ship 28 static fire test. Now, this is, of course, ahead of the next Starship test flight. We're looking forward to the third test flight. And I actually shared this video on X asking for you guys to drop your predictions of when we might see that third flight. NSF quickly responded saying that they think that Starship will be flight ready by January 10th, but won't actually get the green light to fly until sometime in February, which sounds pretty realistic to me, but it's nice to see just how much quicker they're moving testing and operations after the second flight compared to after the first flight. It really seems like in 2024, we will have the year of Starship, and there will be a much upped launch cadence for the Starship program. So thank you for watching my SpaceX update. I know that you guys are enjoying these, so I'm making a commitment to make more of these videos. And I also want to thank all of the people who have put in an order. Obviously, Christmas is just a few days away now, but I wanted to remind you guys that you can support the Ellie in Space channel by ordering one of these 3D printed Starship or SLS designs. Now, these you assemble yourself, which is also a really fun activity for you to do maybe with your child. But when you plug these in, they actually vent and they look pretty realistic. They are humidifiers, but they have an interactive venting effect. And so a lot of you guys are enjoying these, and I just want to thank everyone who has ordered these, because by ordering them, you're not only benefiting Stardust, who makes them, you're benefiting me as well. These help support the Ellie in Space channel. So thank you to everyone who supports the channel. I also have to mention that we have surpassed 80,000 subscribers on YouTube as of today. This morning, I woke up and I refreshed my YouTube studio, and we are so close. Well, getting closer to 100,000 subscribers, which is really exciting. That's when you get that first YouTube plaque. And it's just crazy for me to see how much my channel has grown. I decided to become full-time on YouTube about a year and a half ago, fearing that it might be the worst, most irresponsible decision of my life. And actually, it has been the best decision that I've made for my career. And I can't do it without your guys' support. So I really appreciate your help. I think 2024 is going to be a big year for the Ellie in Space channel. And I'm so glad that you guys get to enjoy the ride with me.